Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, innies, outies, and of course in-betweeners. My name's Dan and welcome back to another PAP Reports. It's Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2020. Today we're starting with the police moaning yet again that they don't know how to enforce the law. As from yesterday in England, the new rules that different people from different households can now meet in groups of 6 outdoors, so long as they stay 2 metres apart. But police chiefs, the very ones we expect to be able to make the right decisions, considering their decisions could ruin people's lives, are still moaning, saying that the new lockdown rules are unenforceable and the public will now do what they want. Ken Marsh, chair of the Metropolitan Police Federation, told the Daily Telegraph, "I don't think the public are taking much notice of what is laid down in front of them." Well, that will certainly make a change from the police doing the same, won't it, Ken? They are doing it how they want to. In terms of it being enforceable, I don't think it is, he says. Oh, and again, another similarity between the police and how you're now perceiving the public. He said the new rules were unclear and unpoliceable. He said, what are the rules? This is what I keep saying. I don't think they are very clear. I think they are ambiguous. Any interpretation can be used on them. People will do what they want to do. The youth are not bothered because they think coronavirus won't affect them. So Ken, what's the problem? Most of the laws you and your Blue Lion Gang enforce are ambiguous and unclear, allowing for the police to misuse and abuse them in almost every situation. Are you suddenly getting a taste of what it's like to be one of us? Janelle de Gruchy, president of the Association of Directors of Public Health, told The Guardian the public was not keeping to social distancing as it was, saying that the public have been told to adhere to the new rules to avoid a second peak because the room for manoeuvre is quite limited. The indefinite storage of a convicted drink driver's profile, photo and fingerprints by the Police Service of Northern Ireland is a breach of human rights, the European Court of Human Rights ruled earlier this year, which has prompted the Police Service of Northern Ireland to start deleting DNA records on file as of September. A UK Supreme Court judgment has said the potential benefit to the public of retaining the DNA profiles of those who are convicted was considerable and outweighed the interference with the right of the individual. However, that finding was overturned by judges in Strasbourg. The latest judgment by the European Court in the area of biometric retention was that the Police Service of Northern Ireland was lawfully retaining biometrics as per existing provisions in the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, but that the provisions of PACE were in breach of an individual's right to privacy and family life under Article 8. So PACE is fundamentally a breach of our rights. Who'd have guessed? PSNI Chief Constable Simon Byrne told the Policing Board the force was committed to action. It is currently envisaged that this will fully commence in September 2020 with real-time deletions of PACE materials. And it certainly might be worth looking into finding out if your details are still kept by police here in England, especially if the retention isn't a reflection of the severity of the offence. What I'm saying is that if it was a minor offence and was a considerable time ago, you might have cause to require the police to remove your biometric data. Just something to think about. A gross misconduct hearing is set to start on 3rd of June for PC Hess, a Metropolitan Police Constable based at Met's North East Command Unit. The allegations against PC Hess, as per the hearing notice, alleges that PC Hess used confidential information obtained in his role as a police constable to encourage a victim to send nude and intimate pictures of herself. It is alleged that in acting in this way, PC Hess breached the standards of professional behaviour in respect of authority, respect and courtesy, confidentiality and discreditable conduct. No shit. It is further alleged that this conduct, if proven, amounts individually or collectively to gross misconduct, and if so, it is further alleged that this conduct, if proven, amounts individually or collectively to gross misconduct, and is so serious as to justify dismissal. Hess is said to have visited the home of a vulnerable woman who wanted to report that nude and intimate pictures of her had been shared on social media without her permission whilst on duty on October the 30th, 2018. PC Hess is accused of later contacting her on social media between November the 15th and December the 18th, 2018. He is alleged to have suggested that they meet for a drink, and asked the woman to send him nude and intimate pictures. Just the kind of people we want on our police force. I'll let you know the outcome of that when it comes available. North Wales Police disposed of a couple's £100,000 motorhome before a decision had even been made on the case by a court. The Mercedes-Benz Unimog was initially seized on October 28th last year, due to German national Astrid Linz and her husband being unable to provide proof of insurance. The motorhome was described as her primary residence when North Wales Police seized the vehicle, and then they refused to return it. When she later produced an insurance policy through NFU Mutual to reclaim the vehicle, police are said to have carried out further checks, but said the results of those checks invalidated the insurance and so kept the vehicle after getting a court judgment. However, before the case was settled, the police force auctioned off the vehicle and Mrs. Lynn's primary residence. Speaking about the decision to auction the vehicle, Judge Jarman said on the 6th of March 2020, "I ordered that the application be adjourned to be listed in court as a rolled-up hearing." He said that the decision by police to auction off the vehicle as highly surprising, to say the least. It became apparent that notwithstanding my order of 6th of March 2020, the defendant, North Wales Police, has since disposed of the vehicle at auction. The fact that the disposal was made after and in knowledge of the order dated 6th of March 2020 is, to say the very least, highly surprising. He added, although there was no order therefore preventing such disposal, the order of 6th of March 2020 made quite clear that the court was seized of the matter and that there was a hearing to be listed. The checks that the police carried out did in fact find information that was not revealed to the insurer by Mrs. Lynn's, which would of course have invalidated her insurance, although she denies that driving convictions on her licence are hers and said that it was her son who committed these offences without her knowledge. Mrs. Lynn's brought about a judicial review to challenge the decision, but while the case was being processed, the vehicle was broken down into parts and sold. The judge also ruled that the vehicle should have been returned to Mrs. Lynn's when she provided the insurance policy, despite the possibility of it being invalidated in the future. He said that officers had taken into account that the insurer may have grounds to avoid the policy, and said at the time of Mrs. Lynn's providing the policy, the insurance was valid and the officers took into account immaterial matters. The policy was only voided in a letter dated May 12, 2020, despite her trying to obtain her vehicle in December 2019, according to a judgment released on Friday. Northumbria police are investigating a hate crime after 3 British teenagers posted a picture imitating the killing of George Floyd on social media. The picture shows one young white man kneeling on the neck of another on the ground, along with the caption, "Police brutality," which it was. Police confirmed the incident is being treated as a hate crime and the teenagers were arrested on suspicion of sending communications causing anxiety and distress. One commenter said the picture makes a mockery of Floyd's shocking killing. But does it? The caption said police brutality. Nothing about George being black or anything like that. So what protected characteristics do the claimants have in order to claim a hate crime? Apart from the fact that the picture wasn't aimed at anyone in particular, but rather at the police, I'm struggling to think what protected characteristics that the police may have. A spokesperson for Northumbria Police said, "We can confirm we are investigating after an image was shared on social media which showed 2 men imitating the recent death of US citizen George Floyd. An investigation was launched and yesterday, police arrested 2 males aged 19 and another male aged 18 on suspicion of sending communications causing anxiety and distress. They have since been released on bail. We understand that this social media post has caused significant upset and we want to reassure the public it's being investigated robustly and is being treated as a hate crime. Personally, I'd suggest that you stop making things worse for yourself, Northumbria Police." So someone might not have liked the picture, but you know what? It happened. It's an event that took place and people all over the world are talking about it, publicising it and sharing it. So what's your point exactly? We don't see these people being arrested for imitating George Floyd, do we?
During one protest Saturday, people demonstrated peacefully with a very symbolic move. They laid on the ground in front of the Capitol, and they did so for 9 minutes. That's about the same amount of time George Floyd was on the ground beneath the knee of the Minneapolis police officer.
So what exactly do you hope to gain from the arrest for hate crime? You are, of course, absolutely right. It is shocking, but what you seem to be doing is trying to set a precedent that highlighting what has happened at the hands of the police in the US is unacceptable here in the UK. If you don't like something, don't look at it. It's a simple way not to be offended, isn't it? And actually spending time pursuing these people for highlighting the death of an innocent man is a complete and utter waste of police time and public money. This whole feelings police has to stop, and soon, before it goes too far. Yesterday we spoke about the new amendments to the Health Protection Coronavirus Restrictions England Regulations 2020, and that two people from different households cannot meet in a private place, for example, your bedroom. In the video I explained that the police have no powers under the coronavirus regulations or health protection regulations to enter your property to enforce those rules. Well, although it was obvious to most people, it's now been confirmed after a document released by the National Police Chiefs Council says that police can tell you to leave someone's home if they are breaching the new rules, but cannot force them to go. The document released advises police that a person may now leave and remain outside of the place where they live for any reason, subject to restrictions on gatherings and overnight stays. You may only direct a person to return home. There are no powers in the regulations to remove someone or use force. Fixed penalty notices, however, and arrests still apply where appropriate. Since the lockdown began, police have not had the powers to enter a property purely because they suspect a lockdown offence is being committed. However, they have used existing powers at their disposal to gain entry to properties where they suspect illegal activity to be taking place. Which ultimately means that now more than ever, you need to be recording all interactions with the police at your home, as they will, as evidenced, lie and make up reasons to unlawfully enter your property in order to cause you disruption and annoyance while trying to get some brownie points by issuing more unlawful fixed penalty notices. In yesterday's PAP Reports, I told you how former Assistant Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, Steve Hayward's gross misconduct hearing began. A misconduct hearing into the way he handled the operation, which led to the death of Anthony Granger in 2012 in Cheshire by Manchester Police Firearms. The hearing was due to last 3 days and look at allegations that Hayward, now retired, breached police professional standards relating to honesty and integrity and performance of duties, after it was said the police operation, codenamed Shire, was based on seriously misleading intelligence and led by commanding officers who were not occupationally competent. In 2017, a public inquiry into the shooting revealed that Q9, the firearms officer, had been presented with seriously inaccurate intelligence which exaggerated the risk posed by Mr. Granger. Mr. Hayward was forced to apologise at the time to the inquiry judge after he admitted going back to his contemporaneous log of the mission after it had ended in tragedy, and in order to add extra detail he could not have known at the time, which justified the armed swoop. He admitted flaws which had been exposed by the QC for the inquiry were my fault, telling the inquiry judge it looks poor and does not help the inquiry, but that was the reality in 2012 of me trying to run numerous jobs, a busy diary and being the 24/7 duty officer for the week. After the inquiry in 2017, Hayward never returned to work, spending 18 months on the sick, pocketing £250,000 in wages and pension contributions before he was allowed to retire in October 2018. The hearing yesterday heard that Hayward completed the firearms log retrospectively. In other words, he filled in the log that should have been completed before the operation, after the operation. Hayward's barrister has asked for the hearing to be stayed, saying that Greater Manchester Police had breached regulations by delaying the hearing. Well, surely that just makes up for Hayward's breaching regulations that resulted in someone's death, doesn't it? His barrister continued, "It's unfair to Mr. Hayward, who gave exemplary service to the public, but it is also unfair to other participants and unfair to the public." I mean, it's not like it's unfair on the family of an innocent man, though, is it? It's amazing how these people who are supposed to serve their careers with that magical word integrity, how they soon forget about that part when it comes to trying to save their own arses, rather than simply confessing and doing the right thing and apologising. The hearing continued today, and I'll bring you updates on that when available. In PAP Reports on the 25th of May, we spoke about 45-year-old PC Stewart Box from South Gloucestershire Police, whose misconduct hearing for allegedly fracturing a man's jaw was due to start yesterday. Well, the latest information to come from that hearing is more shocking than what was originally reported. PC Box's victim turns out to have been 70-year-old Peter Bergam, who, when PC Box knocked him to the ground, Bergam's wife Caroline feared he had been killed. Peter Bergam unfortunately did go on to die from what was called unrelated causes a few weeks after the incident. The misconduct hearing heard yesterday how Mr Bergam spent the last few weeks of his life in pain as a result of the attack, and how his widow, who was also injured as she tried to stop Mr Box leaving the scene of the attack, continued to suffer nightmares, flashbacks and insomnia because of what she saw. Mr Box said the driver was a stupid bastard who had nearly fucking killed me and should have left more space, the panel heard. He slapped Mr Bergam, who then took out his phone to film the incident as he backed away. Mr Box claimed he had been hit first as he grabbed the phone and threw it over a fence before punching Mr Bergam. Mrs Bergam was unable to stop Box from leaving the scene as he got onto his bike and rode off without calling 999 or leaving his details. Mr Bergam suffered 2 fractures to his jaw, requiring surgery that left him unable to eat solid foods, as well as cuts and bruises. Elliot Gold, representing Avon and Somerset Police, said, for reasons that were unrelated, Mr Bergam tragically died from other matters. The consequences were that Mr and Mrs Bergam's last weeks together were affected in the most adverse way. Mr Gold said Mr Box lost his temper and used an unreasonable level of force when he should have tried to de-escalate the situation. Panel Chair Stephanie Beasley said the panel was deeply concerned. PC Box had 23 years of police experience. He should have known better, she said. We take a dim view of his leaving the scene. There was a disappointing lack of genuine remorse. His focus was on damage to his bike. Public confidence has likely already been lost. The only outcome must seek to restore it. Had he still been serving, his position would have been untenable. He would have been dismissed without notice. So of course, he was allowed to resign before his hearing. Stolen valour is a term normally heard in the USA, where people adorn themselves with medals, falsely claiming military awards or badges that they did not earn, service they didn't perform, or wearing uniforms that they simply don't have the right to wear. Well, for the first time I've ever heard it here in the UK, Civil Nuclear Constabulary Superintendent Glenn McAveley, a firearms officer, has been suspended due to allegations of gross misconduct in respect to wearing medal ribbons representing military service in Iraq and Afghanistan during an awards ceremony hosted by the Chief Constable of Cumbria Police on April 4, 2012. It's alleged he wore the medal ribbons on the left chest pocket of his tunic, knowing that he was not entitled to do so, and to give the false impression he had been awarded those medals and served in those campaigns whilst a member of the military. If found to be true, the allegations would mean that Superintendent McAveley has breached the standards of professional behaviour in respect of honesty and integrity, and also that his conduct was discreditable. Superintendent McAveley was due to undergo a misconduct hearing last Thursday, however the hearing has been postponed. When it does get heard, I'll bring you the information. An unnamed Metropolitan Police detective constable is facing a misconduct hearing for failing to release CCTV footage of an acid attack 3 months before the same suspect went on to kill a woman by throwing acid in her face. 20-year-old Zeneral Webster was identified the day after the initial attack by the unnamed detective, who finally passed on the evidence 20 months later. When it emerged that Webster was the prime suspect in the attack 3 months earlier in March 2017, the family of Joe Rand, the victim who subsequently died at the hands of Webster because evidence failed to be passed on, said she might still be alive had the Met not allegedly let her attacker slip through the net. Ms Rand's family said had this acid attack in March 2017 been investigated properly at the time, Webster, the alleged perpetrator, would have been dealt with and may not have been free to carry out a horrific attack in June 2017 on Joe, and she may still be with us. We feel let down by the Metropolitan Police, she said. A probe by the IOPC found the detective constable obtained CCTV images a day after the Ealing attack, in which the woman suffered significant leg injuries. IOPC Regional Director Sal Nassim said, having assessed all of the evidence, we concluded the failure on the part of the detective constable to circulate the CCTV image was not intentional or deliberate, however, was entirely avoidable. The officer had an opportunity in April 2017 to circulate the CCTV, but this didn't happen. We passed our report and its findings to the Metropolitan Police Service, who agree with us that the officer had a case to answer for misconduct. They will now arrange a misconduct meeting to take place during which the evidence will be assessed. So his failures went on to allow a woman to die, and it's only misconduct. 39-year-old ex-Greater Manchester Police Constable Daniel Ameson, described as a Breaking Bad style police officer who was sacked from the force in 2017 after being found guilty of masterminding a drugs racket, misconduct in a public office and conspiracy to defraud, receiving 6 years in prison, has had an additional 12 months added to his sentence for selling pirate IPTV set-top boxes. It's said that Ameson made over £655,000 from the sale of IPTV or Z-Gemma boxes via eBay, YouTube, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, which funded a lavish lifestyle for him and his wife. Investigators from the Federation Against Copyright Theft brought a sample IPTV box via a company that he had set up and found he set up an account in his wife's name and used his mother and sister's bank accounts to launder funds. His wife, Rachel, was charged with money laundering, but the charges were allowed to lay on file after she denied wrongdoing. The couple have now split up. I'm not sure if I was him, if I'd be more upset about the extra jail time or the fact she's probably banging one of his colleagues right now. Okay, and this is the part that I know some of you have been waiting for. I know yesterday's live stream wasn't a normal live stream that I have been doing, and we didn't get to pick a winner for the camera giveaway. So, as I said to you last night, because of the gremlins that was occurring on YouTube, I said that I would give it until today in order for the comments to propagate on the video that I asked you to comment on. Now we're going to pick a winner. As always, I try and show you how I pick a winner, just so you know that it is completely random. Again, if it's somebody that's already won a camera previously, then unfortunately, if your name comes up, you won't be able to win again. But let's get into it. So that's the URL of the video. It's now showing that there's 115 people entered. And what we do now is we click here and it's going to give us a winner. Lock Weymouth, UK. Congratulations, you have won the camera. Now, if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't seen the cameras that we're giving away or watched one of the live streams, then what we normally do is once a week, especially during the lockdown, is I run a live stream and we just get people together and we'll chat about whatever comes up. It's just a way of the community coming together and getting to know one another. There is no real structure to the live streams at the moment. Once we're out of the lockdown and everything else, then we'll get to that and put a structure in place. But at the moment, we literally just get together once a week where we can and talk, get to know each other, talk about recent events, talk about the news, etc. And it's just a great way for the community to get to know each other and to build that bond. So if you have not been on a live stream yet, the live streams are usually on a Sunday night. Sometimes if I can't do it on a Sunday night, I'll do it on the Monday night. But keep an eye open for them. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so that you get those instant notifications, although the notifications don't always come through. So the other option is to hit the Discord link in the description of this video. You can sign up to Discord. You will get instant notifications through Discord, more so than you actually get from YouTube notifications. So that's a great way to keep up to date and to get that notification of when a new video goes up on the channel. Anyway, Lock Weymouth UK, congratulations once again. Please can you email me, policeabusingpowers@gmail.com. Drop us an email and I will explain what I need from you in order to get this sent off to you. Very big thank you to the channel Patreon supporters. Of course, your support is truly appreciated. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. Until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.
Good night, all.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.